Welcome to this edition of Chakmah Choter. We're continuing to make our way through what is one of the most revealing prophecies, really, of our time. It's one of the things that surprised me uh, is that there's such fascination among the rabbis on when and who will be the returning Messiah that can solve all their woes and have a new temple and make them important again. Of course, when the actual Messiah arrives, he's going to obliterate the religious, and so they're not going to like him very much. Maybe that's why they don't say his name. And then you've got our entire religion. The most popular religion in the world is based upon claiming that a fellow named Jesus was a Messiah. They gave him a Greek name, though, because, Greeks and Romans didn't much like the Jews, so you didn't want to give him a Jewish name, so they gave him a Greek name. And I guess that's really fine because, he's a myth anyway, so why not make the myth popular among the people that the myth was trying to appeal to? But with all this fascination over "you are the Christ," as if there was a title regarding that, because, by the way, there is no prophecy that says you are the Christ. There's no prophecy about a returning Messiah other than this one right here that I'm going to share with you again. It's the only one about a returning Messiah. And in this case, it names him as Dode. But one of the things that is just surprising me is that everything in the pretext to this was about this fella named the Nachri that was going to come, and he is so vital to the survival of Israel that God says you need to listen to what he says no matter where you are on the planet, and then you need to respond doing everything he asks of you. Now, there's nobody anywhere close to that kind of credential anywhere in the prophets. And yet there's not a single person the world over that says we better be looking for this Nachri fella, because God tells us to listen to what he has to say no matter where we are, when we live, and stop what we're doing so that we can do everything he asks. Nothing anywhere close to it. And yet, how many people out there are saying, "Where's the Nachri?" Looking for that Nachri guy. Not one. It's like God revealed 80, 90% of what he had to say without anybody being able to figure any of it out. How's that possible that it's God speaking? Now, in this particular case, this 2 Chronicles 6 presentation of the Nachri, it is in the single most important moment in time. This is 7 years from year 3000 Yah, right in the center of the 6,000 years from the time we were booted out of the garden to the time we returned to the garden. You couldn't be more central. It is on top of Mount Moriah. It's the center of God's world, Mount Moriah. Can't be any more central. So the timing is central. The location is the dead center of Yahweh's world. It was at the commencement of the house to Yahweh's name, the temple. It has just been built, and the Ark of the Covenant had been brought inside. There was no more important moment than this one. And yet that's where this is announced. After saying that it's going to get really rough out there for Jews, and you need to listen to this, we're told that this Nachri, he's going to come, and he is essential to the survival of Israel. And you need to listen to what he says and do what he says, and what he is saying is coming directly from the heavens above. God's sponsoring it. So you can't have better authority than that. You can't be in a more important place than that. You can't be at a more important time than that. And the person making the speech was proclaimed to be the wisest man who ever lived. You can't have a more important authority than that. And yet, nobody seems to care that God told you to look for this knackery, listen to him, and do what he said. Yeah. So the next part of it, of course, it closes with this statement, which destroys the religions that are fixated on a false Messiah. It says, Yahweh Almighty, do not turn away forever or fail to return along with the appearance and presence of your Messiah. I want you to choose to remember and to emphatically memorialize the most memorable of men. Your steadfast devotion, your loyal love, your kindness, enduring affection, and unfailing favoritism is for David, your co-worker and your associate. That means God's coming back with Dode. It means that Dode is the Messiah. It means that Yahweh is God's name, that the most important person is Dode, that God loves him more than any other. And it means that Dode most certainly at this point would have to have two lives. But for him to be acclaimed in this way, we're really dealing with three, with the second of the three lives being to fulfill Pesach, Matzah, and Bekurim. And that means that Jesus cannot be the Messiah. It means that Jesus cannot have a second coming. He didn't even have a first coming. It means that the rabbis are wrong when they don't give any credit to the name of the returning Messiah, that they devalue Dode when he is Yahweh's beloved. He is Yahweh's co-worker. They write Yahweh's name out of the script. They don't even acknowledge that Yahweh is returning. So with this statement, Christianity and Judaism are tossed in the trash bin labeled false religions. HaMashiach, the Messiah, is a known individual. He is Dode David, and he is returning with Yahweh. The father of Rabbinic Judaism lied with his false Messiah, Bar Kokhba. And the fact that he didn't announce this means he was either too stupid for words or too deceitful to even have anyone listen to him, much less to have thousands, tens of thousands of disciples and to be the founder of a God-forsaken religion. It also means that Paul deliberately lied when he claimed that his mythical Jesus was the Christ, and he lied when he said that Dode was dead and buried and that he wasn't in heaven. The founders of Judaism and Christianity lied. I don't even want to get into Islam. It's just too stupid for words. Therefore, if there is to be a future Messiah, he's Dode. Not Jesus or Bar Kokhba. If there is to be a gospel of grace, it is delivered by the King of Israel, not Mr. Christ. It cannot be the property of the provocateur, Paul. So let's be clear. The Nakri, the observant foreigner, has made it obvious that Yahweh is God. Jerusalem is his earthly home. Dode is his beloved son and his Messiah, and both are returning on Yom Kippurim, the day of reconciliations, in year 6000 Yah, which is sunset 6:22 p.m. in Jerusalem, October 2nd, year 2033. Any questions? I have some. Since the psychotic, embittered, and rebellious woman, luring her enablers to her mother goddess cult, claimed that the conclusion of what we're studying now and just have concluded, which is 2 Chronicles 6, implied that Yada, as the Zeroah and Choter, could not be the Nakri, when no such indication is stated or implied. And in fact, it reveals information that is important to the credibility of the Nacre. So why does anyone believe this pathetic liar? Why do Jews seek the arrival of an unnamed Messiah when the name of the Messiah has been given? He's Dode. Why have they erased Yahweh's name when it is adroitly stated right here in the text? Why aren't they anticipating Yahweh's return and the arrival of the Nacre? Now that every intelligent listener and reader has discarded the Talmud, rabbis and Judaism, the New Testament, the church, Christianity, even conspiracy cults and their false witnesses, based upon what we have just considered, let's ponder the next entry in the narrative of what occurred on this Friday. I suspect that we're ready to witness a harbinger of the greatest show on earth. Excuse me, my Labrador is fixating over her paws again. As it will transpire 8 years from now, 3,000 years now ago, Yahweh sent down fire from the sky. This is predictive of Teruah and concurrent with the sacrifice of his Nacre, this observant and responsible foreigner, as the Adamah Parah, the red heifer. In this way, God will justify his approach to divine intervention. This is the next line from Solomon. And to reveal the relevant comparison, as soon as Shalomo, reconciliation, Solomon, finish independently and demonstrably furnished the justification for intervention, la palal. He presented the deciding factors regarding mediation and judgment apart from societal, religious, or political influence. Then the fire descended out of the heavens. It consumed the elevating offering, the olah, the burnt offering, which makes acceptable, enables the ascent up the stairway from Allah to rise and ascend, to be withdrawn and to grow as part of the sacrifices. Then the glory and splendor, the manifestation and the persona, even the reward of Yahweh, completely filled the Bayeth family home. Dabadim ha-yomem, words of the days, 2 Chronicles 7:1. Well, so what this says is that one of the things that is important regarding this Nacre, and the reason you ought to respond to everything that he asks of you, is that this Nacre is the red heifer. He is this productive, bloody red man of the earth, the man out of Edom that saves many. And he is offering his life to reconcile this final remnant of Yisrael, who is God, again, is reminding to listen and to be responsive, doing so on Teruah. And the model for what is happening is presented not only in the presentation of the red heifer in Numbers 19, but also based upon the experience that Eliah had when there was a similar sacrifice of a bull and Yahweh ignited the fires, illuminating the world, purifying his people, and incinerating the trash that had come to harm them. And it was all done in advance of reconciliations, the day of reconciliations, why it's We are, huh? Okay. We are, huh? Well, okay. Well, let's see. I'm not so sure this is going to work, folks, because we went dark for a while, and now we're back up, but in a kind of a odd sort of way. But and I think with the black period, we're probably better off just trying to cancel this program and pick up where we left off. So I'm going to finish the thought that I had, but I just don't think that a program with a 5-minute black period is what we want to go with. So I will just say that this passage that we were revealing, which is the first statement in the next chapter, the very next line after Second Chronicles chapter 6, reprises something that we were going to witness again. It reprises the events associated with the sacrifice of the red heifer, where Yahweh will light the fires. This is the seminal moment in the Nakri's existence, where he is sacrificed, just as this says, as an elevating offering, and is part of the ultimate sacrifices, because there's two during the Mikre with the Dode, the Messiah fulfilling Pesach, Matzah, and Bokorim, and making the sacrifice of Pesach and Matzah on behalf of Bokorim, and now with the Nakri as the Adamah Parah, making the sacrifice on Teruah for the benefit of Yom Kippurim and Sukkah. And one of the things that's always interesting anytime we're dealing with a sacrifice and fire is that fire is something that has a property that very few consider. And that is that when fire consumes a dead or decaying aspect of organic matter, it transforms that into light and energy. And bodies are a liability to us. That's why physical resurrections are so stupid. They're counterproductive. We don't want to claim a body. We want to get rid of these bodies. And fire is that thing which transforms this decaying organic organism that we have here that is so limiting to us, keeping us on this planet such that we're stuck in the ordinary flow of time, so that we cannot be immortal. We can't travel of any distance. We can't enter heaven. So with fire, it consumes that which has no value to us, and it transforms it into light and energy. And light and energy, time exists. All time exists on a photon of light. And as energy, then we become immortal and we rise, because the energy of fire rises. We are enlightened. But most of all, we are transformed, going from matter to energy, which is the key direction we want to go if we're going to be empowered, enriched, and enlightened by God. And that is what this is specifically saying. And as a result of this sacrifice of the Nakar as the Adamah Parah, this bloody red man of the earth who is productive, then the glory and splendor and the manifestation and power of and reward of Yahweh can appear. God cannot appear to this final mortal remnant of his people until they are prepared to be in his presence, and they must be expunged of their guilt, which is why this sacrifice is made. It's why the fire is there to purge them. It's why the waters will be released from the Temple Mount to cleanse them. All of these things are necessary for us to be in the position where we can, this mortal remnant can be in God's presence and enter God's presence and not be incinerated by him. And the thing that is now filled completely with Yahweh's manifestation, therefore the fiery light, therefore illuminated, is the family home to Yahweh's name. And this is exactly how I perceive it going forward, that the final temple, this final home for Yahweh's name, the covenant home on Moriah, is going to be comprised of light. Well, we're going to end this program at this point so we can figure out how big a gap we had and how we can deal with it and what part of that previous show works, and then how we move on from this period. So thank you for listening. I apologize for the interruption. What did happen was that our beloved Asher, the white lab, decided that she was unhappy with me telling her she couldn't be biting herself. So she went over to get Rich's attention and was so wiggly that she hit the streaming computer and managed to take it offline. So we know the culprit. That's what happened, but we'll see where we go from here. Thank you for listening. Such is the challenges of live streaming.